to really appreciate the first gadget in an all-new category of gadgets, you have to actually get your hands on it. We saw the Huawei Mate X a few days back for the first time, but now we've actually been able to get some proper extended hands-on time with this foldable 5G flagship. So it's time for a more considered opinion. Because whatever you think of its almost $2,600 price tag, there's no question the Mate X itself is a real milestone and the start of something genuinely new and exciting. So first, a quick recap of the basics. This is an 8-inch tablet-like gadget that folds in half to form a main screen area at 6.6 inches and a secondary screen area around the back at 6.38 inches. You've got 3 cameras in the current model, not clear if that'll change somewhere down the line, we were originally briefed that there'd be 4. The internals are pretty much in line with that of the Huawei Mate 20 series, so there's a high-end spec sheet led by the Kirin 980 processor. Fully folded out, the Mate X is spectacularly thin at 5.4mm. Yet holding it with the wedge-shaped handle area feels pretty natural, almost like holding a folded magazine. The surface of the display is indeed some sort of plastic, a special kind of plastic that Huawei isn't commenting on just yet, and of course that means that you can see signs of flexing increasing in this early sample, in part because that's just a characteristic of the material. What I will say is it isn't particularly noticeable unless you go looking for it. If you've ever used a screen protector on a phone, the effect when viewing it off angle looks similar to that. If you want a foldable phone in 2019, it's gonna have to be plastic. Another effect of this choice of material is that the Mate X feels remarkably lightweight when it's fully folded out. It's likely the design and handle shape help out a bit there. Compared to other phones, you lose some sense of weight from the lack of glass in this device, but gain some through the presence of an extra large 4500 mAh battery. It goes from feeling almost magical when it's flat, to feeling a little bit chunky when you one-hand it like this. The major thing you notice versus the Samsung Galaxy Fold is the general lack of bezels and the overall svelteness of the device. Samsung has this emo fringe-shaped notch over on the right there, but with the Mate X, it's all screen. The outer screen of the Galaxy Fold is famous for its giant bezels, instead Huawei offers a standard phone-sized squarish panel. In its natural folded-out form, the expansive display is great for web browsing, though a little awkward for 16:9 video. It's also weird to adjust to typing on something this square and this thin, though not impossible. Of course, Huawei's foldable approach has its own potential pitfalls. The Falcon Wing hinge, as impressive as it is a potential point of weakness if it's dropped. That said, it seems solid enough in our brief time with it here at Mobile World Congress. The panel snaps into a flattened form factor and on the other end latches itself shut into a thicker foam form factor. You've got this little release key to open it up, which saves you the labour of prying the two sides apart. And that sounds like a small thing, but it's one of the many design and usability choices that you need to get right to make a good foldable. For example of how the wrong decisions can make for a bad foldable, look no further than the old Royale Flexpai that got a lot of press last month at CES. The Mate X, on the other hand, is infinitely more refined and better designed. So the current version of the Mate X firmware is basically standard Huawei flavoured Android. It seems to be running EMUI 9 based on Android 9 Pie, and with it Huawei's full-screen gesture controls, plus the standard loadout of apps, many of which reorder themselves depending on the way you're holding the device. When it's folded shut, the Mate X uses its gyro and other sensors to figure out which screen to display stuff on. It's pretty neat to flip it over and then see the UI following you onto the second display. The main practical use of this is in the camera app. If you're the subject of a photo, you can see a preview of the shot on the second screen clustered near the camera array, while the photographer controls the shot on the main display. If you're taking a selfie, no problem, just flip the device around and use the main camera array with the secondary area of the screen. And yes, you can even be that guy taking a photo with the Mate X in tablet mode, fully extended with a giant squarish viewfinder. With a price tag north of €2,200, Huawei surely knows it's not going to sell these devices in droves. It's much more about showing what finally is possible in a mobile device, and a very tangible example of what spending billions on R&D over upwards of a decade can actually get you. Any long-term conclusions are going to have to wait though. We're still months away from the retail launch of the Mate X, but I'm excited to spend more time with it and to figure out how this extremely new and cutting-edge gadget can fit into my life and my workflow. That's it for now. Be sure to subscribe for more from MWC here in Barcelona. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.